All right, we should be live now. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Work the Trigger live stream. It's been a long time since we have done this. Quite frankly, I think it's been probably a year or so since some of these guys have been on here. We've got with us tonight, Manny. Oh, I'm talking. Oh, it started late. That's all right. So we've got Manny from the Manny Talks Shooting podcast. Say hello, Manny.
Hello, everybody. Long time no see.
And we've got Harrison from Harry's Holsters on tonight.
Yeah. Hey, guys.
So I figured first of all, I miss doing live streams. I miss you guys. I don't miss your faces. That would be weird. But
last weekend.
Say what?
So I saw you last weekend.
You did see me last weekend.
Yes,
It's true. It's true.
Last week.
I just miss doing live stream stuff. So I figured we'd do a live stream. And with the new gun season kind of just fading out with the NRA show last weekend, figured we could talk some guns. And hey, look, Professor's on already. Hello, Professor. How's it going? Figured we could talk some guns, some of the new stuff that's coming out. Harrison and I were both there. Manny was not only shooting a match, but sponsoring a match. And did you sponsor the whole match, or do you have like a Manny stage?
I coordinated the whole match, but yes, I did sponsor one stage.
Okay, so Manny is now a person in the USP. I mean, he's been a person in the USPSA scene. But Manny, before we get started, you want to tell him a little bit about what you do on your podcast in time and with the gun community?
Well, yeah, that's great. So for most of my free time, I spend doing a podcast talking primarily about competition shooting. But lately, we've been branching out into more generic gun-friendly things. Like I've got an episode with Vinny of Monsoon Tactical coming out soon. We're almost to the 100th episode of the podcast, which it took me longer than I thought, but I'm also getting there very quickly. So we've got the podcast primarily talks about with competition shooters, but we've dabbled. I've talked to workmen. I've talked to a bunch of different people now, so it's kind of cool. Hopefully we'll branch into more YouTubers, but primarily my true hobby, I guess, is USPSA competition shooting. And besides running local matches at my club, I was a match director for a level 2 match, and that's a lot of work. It's a lot of work.
Yeah, you have grown quite a bit since we stopped doing our live streams. So down below, we've got Harrison from Harry's Holsters. Harrison, you want to give him a little bit of an intro for you?
I'm Harrison Jones. I'm the owner of Harry's Holsters, and I'm making silk carry holsters.
The best carry holsters on the market.
They're pretty good.
He also can flaunt that he's your boss.
He can flaunt that he's my boss.
He is a contractor. He does not.
There we go. He's
Get your
we independent
1099
contractor. There we go. So if anybody else is hiring, I don't have any time, so don't even bother reaching out.
Unless you're actually his boss from his day job.
No, I thought I met his boss at the show, and
That's right.
Describing me as his boss.
It's true.
It was interesting.
You may not be my boss, but you're the guy that tells me what to do. So
You gotta do what you want to most of the time.
I mean, you're not wrong. It's you influence
That's what a contracting relationship is. I tell you what needs to be done. You decide how to do it within the parameters.
We do that a lot.
Yes.
A lot. So, as I said, with the gun season, the new gun season kind of being over, they'll be announcing guns throughout the year, but the majority of the season is now over. So we've got a lot of new guns out on the table. Harrison, you went to the NRA show. What was your main takeaway there? Like, what was the big thing that you liked seeing, and what do you wish there was more of?
I mean, it was a pretty typical NRA show. I'm honestly kind of mad there weren't a lot of quality knife manufacturers.
There were a couple. There were maybe 4 decent knife booths.
And I really wanted to see Microtech there. I didn't see them. I saw a knockoff Benchmade booth that pissed me off because I hate seeing a knockoff of a large legitimate brand at a large event like that.
Right. Yeah. It's one thing to see them at like your local gun show with their little, table of China knives in the corner, but It's different to see them at the NRA show.
Yeah, and I don't know if they were there on the second day.
Ooh,
I think
drama.
those things were they sign up in whatever booth and they put whatever brand all over the booth.
Yep.
Once they get there, and then they get kicked out like they should.
Right.
So that really makes me mad. But gun wise, I mean, there were just a couple things of the show that I realized I really want that have been out for a while. But
Name one.
A Korth.
Well, everybody wants one of those. That's like, come on.
But remember, like Harrison's like the millennial revolver lover.
He is. It's true. It's true.
Hey,
So,
if I win the lotto, I am gonna pay Dave so much money and force him to shoot like just cowboy action black powder only.
I would watch that actually.
It would be hilarious.
For those of you who don't know, he is speaking about the humble marksman who shoots very strictly semi-automatic pistols. Doesn't do rifles, doesn't do revolvers, does not do PCCs. So, Manny, you weren't there, but what was one of the releases of about the NRA show that kind of caught your fancy? Tickled your somethings?
I don't know. I think what I've seen mostly was that new Kimber EDC 9 knockoff that I can buy 2 of for the same price as the Wilson.
Yeah, they're double stack.
Yeah.
So we actually walked into the Kimber booth completely out of happenstance. We had no plans to really. I wanted to check out some of the revolvers, as you could guess, and they did have an aluminum frame KS or K6S, which is pretty cool. But we got to check that out, and we got to talk to one of the product managers, and I was actually fairly impressed.
Yeah,
that gun. I think you were too.
And I had actually played with those the first day too that we were there. So it was on the second day that I went with you, and the first day I stopped by there. And in using, it's really hard at these shows to get a good feel for the guns because they bring like everything from pre-production units to close to production units, and people have been running the crap out of them. So the first day that I went, like I was running the slide, and the slide was a little bit gritty, and the trigger wasn't that nice. And the second day we went to a different kind of line of their new guns, and it was significantly better. Now I cannot remember. Give me just a second.
I'm surprised their MSRP at $14.99. Like,
yeah, $14.99 ish is what which is for what you're getting.
Optic cut.
Yeah,
I think
it's a really good price as long as it runs.
Yeah, that's what we're all wondering.
It doesn't have, like the Wilson Combat, it doesn't have a grip safety, which I thought was an interesting choice.
The fact that they built this from the ground up honestly gives me more hope that it actually will run. Because in 1911, there's just a lot more going on.
Mm-hmm. And they're way more complex than people give them credit for. 1911s are.
And depending on your supply lines, everything else, when the metal injection molding, the cost of that tooling, it might let things slide that shouldn't slide.
Yeah.
With that. Whereas when they're designing it from the ground up, things might be a little bit more simplified.
Yeah. I will say that the name, the KDS 9C, sucks. That is, I don't like where Kimber is going with their new names, with their revolvers, with this thing. Like
the K6S is a decent name. I can remember.
Hey, what's K and what's 6?
Kimber
6. Kimber 6. Yeah. See, but how do I know? I don't like it. I don't like it, and I really don't like this one.
It's as good as the LCR, the SP 101, or Model 19.
I'm not a big fan of the. I like when guns have like model names.
Anaconda, Python.
There you go.
Aardvark.
That should legitimately be one.
Oh, well, so I mean, we'll talk about this, but I didn't know if you guys stopped by the Stealth Arms booth at NRA show, with their the platypus.
So, yeah,
I've got a friend of mine, Tony, who's been talking with the owner about making a competition like fake open gun.
Yeah,
and we're like, we got to call it the Aardvark.
I like it. I'm down. Was Tony at the NRA show?
He was there
on Friday, right?
Mm-hmm.
I saw him, but here's the thing. So I saw him, and I was like, man, that looks like Tony. But there's no way, because he's got to be shooting Manny's match this weekend.
Yeah, he was at NRA on Friday and the match on Sunday.
I know, and I should have run over and I should have said hi to him, but I did not, and now I'm kicking myself for it.
So what are your guys' thoughts on that? Like, the platypus has been making a lot of waves, so what do you guys think about it?
I'll let Manny talk first on that.
With having played with a platypus, it's interesting how they've designed it. It's not as blocky as a traditional 2011. It's a little bit slimmer. It's not like a Glock. It's rounded on the edges. It's not a 2x4, even though it takes a 2x4 magazine. The trigger was decent. The safeties were okay. I mean, it looks like it takes an EGW ignition kit in the darn thing. Mm-hmm. So you can fix the trigger. If it comes crap, you can fix it. But the customization's cool. Like, just on their builder on their website, you can play with it. New RMR SRO footprints coming out soon. So
yep,
it's if you are stuck with Glock mags and don't want to buy 2011 mags, it's your gun.
So out of curiosity, like, I was looking at the weight. I watched Dave's video on it or skimmed through it. Why did they release it holding a 17 round mag versus, say, a 15 round? Because it seemed like it's more like built for like a general use type gun. I feel like there'd be a larger market for a compact length magwell versus the 17 duty sized.
I think probably because the people who are going to gravitate towards this thing, there's a couple of different people that are going to gravitate towards it. You've got the guys who are just going to take it out to the range and blink. 17 round mag's great. The guys who are
happy with a 15 round mag, they'll have that. For those guys,
happy or would prefer.
I think they can go one way or the other. I think it's 50-50 split on that crowd.
And then the other guys, I think, are the guys who are going to wear this outside the waistband, who don't give a crap about the mag length. I don't think that many conceal carriers are going to be looking at this for a concealed standpoint. So that's why I think they went with that.
I wonder why they didn't go with a steel frame, though. Like, I kind of feel like a steel frame might have been a more appropriate choice
than aluminum.
Yeah, with the 17 round mag, get some extra weight on it. I think
probably
go with the shorter mag. Well, or
price, machining time. I talked heavily, because of my background, I talked heavily with them about the manufacturing of it. I'm not going to tell you guys like a whole lot of what they said, because I think they gave me more information than I should rightfully pass on. But I will say that their machine time, the amount of time that it takes them to run they run them in 2 blanks, was staggeringly short. And they could not pull those times off with steel. Not only that, but they're running billet, and with steel billet, you're going to get internal stresses way more than you're going to get with aluminum. So you run the likelihood of a higher scrap value. You get that, you do get that higher weight, but I don't know how much people, again, the people that are gravitating to this, I don't know if they're going to look at steel versus aluminum and be like, oh, I want that weight, or just, I want a metal gun. I think just the mentality of metal gun, people see that and they really think, quality, weight, easy to shoot. So that's kind of my thought process. But as I said, I talked to them a lot about manufacturability of this thing. So it takes a standard 1911 Series 70 firing group. So the sear, the can't remember all the names. Disconnect. Thank you, Manny. You just had one built, so you remember them all. It's been like 3 years since I've done 1911. The disconnector, the trigger shoe, the hammer, and the firing pin and all that stuff, extractor, those are all standard 1911. Now, they're not, what they use is not off the shelf purchased 1911. They are actually making their own hammers, which surprised me a lot. For how much you can buy a 1911 hammer for, I was surprised. But again, I think it goes into that, built to order type of a thing. They can offer more variety of hammers if they make them in-house. But the trigger bar is proprietary because it's got to get around a Glock mag as opposed to like 2011 mags.
So did they say why they're gravitating towards built to order?
They did not. And I don't know exactly. I think because I agree with what your mind is going with this. It's almost like they couldn't decide a road to pick, so they went both. Like the Glock Mag 1911 is a cool enough thing. I don't think that you would need a golden platter built to order service with it. The built to service one is really cool, and I don't think that you necessarily need the Glock compatibility to be able to sell that. So I agree with you.
I have to wonder. I mean, their lead time, I heard, just doubled again. And at some point, I feel like they're either going to have to streamline their options to simplify production or increase their prices to keep things manageable.
Yeah, I don't disagree there. We were talking back and forth, and I had asked them, and I was going to ask them how many different combinations, and the guy who I was talking to kind of interrupted me, and he goes, "You're going to ask me how many SKUs we have, aren't you?" And I'm like, not so eloquently, but yeah. And he goes, "We lost count." So it's a lot of different combinations, and it does make me worry that they're going to.
Well, I saw Hudson mention in the chat.
Yeah. Professor said at least they were smart enough to offer an aluminum frame before a steel frame, unlike Hudson. You want to chime in on that?
I still think a steel frame might have been a smarter bet in that full-size gun. Like the aluminum frame doesn't make as much sense to me if they're not going for a duty. It just gives a more positive shooting experience. And I don't exactly see at this time, anyway, police departments adopting it or any kind of law enforcement.
No.
I don't really see a play. I get the cost perspective, but I just think a steel frame would be a better shooter in a full-size gun.
I do think that it's interesting. They're offering their base model prices about $1,500.
Yeah,
which surprised me. It surprised me by about $500.
Yeah. And
that's Manny, what would you expect the platypus to cost base price?
Not knowing what I know what it costs.
Yeah. Like 20, what would? Go ahead.
What, $2,200 to $2,500?
Yeah, like base price for that, and then additional stuff. Yeah.
Staccato money.
Yeah, that's what I would kind of expect too. And they're doing it for not like significantly less, but less enough, which honestly makes me worried a little bit.
It's significantly less. That's 25% or more.
Yeah.
You can get a Glock for the price that you save from a Staccato to a Stealth Arms platypus.
That's true. And it makes me worry a little bit, though, that their margins aren't wide enough to be able to continue. And I know they are back ordered like crazy right now.
I'm going to bring this up. We met with PSA at the show, and I have been the one who's always crap talking PSA. You can verify that, Workman.
Yep, it's true.
Just like they released a gun and then you could never buy it for like 2 more years.
Not really about that sort of stuff. I'm not generally that lower end consumer at this point. Like, I started out there. My first AR-15 was a PSA. But now that I kind of went that direction where I bought a bunch of lower end stuff. And now I'm going back towards the direction where I have fewer but nicer things. So that's a personal bias. But I got to talk to those guys about their manufacturing, how they're vertically integrated. They own pretty much all their manufacturing on every part that goes into their products. It's really incredible what they've done. And a little bit that I heard on Stealth Arms, it sounds like they might be a smaller version of that. So if that's the case, they might be able to kind of be the PSA of the 2011-ish world. That might be what they're going for here.
Or the PSA of just custom guns.
I don't think that model sticks with custom for long.
Yeah, I don't think so. But at the same time, they're trying.
I think you get to a point, though, if they get market saturation or if they get enough of it, they're going to be able to sell those guns just as well in a couple of variety of options.
Yeah. And I agree.
I'll have the downsides of, because I guarantee they're going to get emails from people. They go and order their platypus, and they're, if they're 16 weeks out, they're going to get an email at 8 weeks or 12 weeks that say, hey, I've decided I want to change my optic cut to this. I want to change this. I want to change that. That adds a lot of complexity to the entire system. There's a reason you do not back order stuff right now, I'm guessing. There's a reason I don't. Everything is ready to ship.
Yep. I actually have my orders shut off when I'm out of stock. They just And here's the thing, but it's because I stock stuff, and I mean, it's just safer that way.
Murphy's law: a printer's going to break, a CNC is going to go down.
Yep.
Something will go wrong at the most inopportune time.
Yep. So really quick, let's see. A-Dubs brought up the Alpha Foxtrot S15. Have you guys seen this thing?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This is I feel like I remember hearing about it, but I never looked into it past that. So for $1,600, it is an aluminum framed 1911 based firearm with I'm guessing
it's a shield arms mag. It's a shield arms mag.
Right. It runs on shield arms 15 round mags. Which gives it a really small form factor. Let's see. Ships from the factory with the shield arms S15. +5 base pads are available. I'm trying to find the barrel length on it, and I don't see it. I'm guessing it's like 4.75. It comes with a threaded barrel. It is a bushingless bearing system, and it's relatively 1911. Here, let me. I can do things like sharing a screen. Let's share this one. Share. Hey, there we go. So it's this thing. Honestly, I think it looks pretty darn nice. Probably the majority of the fire control group, the safety, that looks like a custom backstrap. That does not look factory 1911. The trigger is probably 1911. The mag release and the slide stop are probably proprietary. But what do you guys think about this thing? Like, I would actually love to get my hands on one of these.
Manny?
It's a cool concept. I like the idea of being able to use a magazine that someone's already designed, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, it's probably a no-go because it's just too small.
Yeah, you have adult-sized hands. I have tiny child hands.
That's the best part I forgot hanging out with you is we always make fun of your hands. I'm not saying it's not a good concealment gun for somebody who wants that, semi-custom-y, small carry pistol, be what you want to be, but it's not for me.
I am curious how big it actually is.
Yeah, their website could be better.
I bet you it's Glock 48 size, maybe a little bit wider.
Yeah, I would almost guarantee it's wider.
So my complaint with this gun, and I have the same problem with the Wilson Combat SFX or whatever the model is. It's it's the EDC X9 that doesn't have removable grip panels.
Yeah,
it just kind of looks fugly. Like that aspect ruins it for me. And have you guys played with the Mischief Machine SIG P365 grip modules?
Nope.
Is that the new one that's like super 2011-ish?
Yeah, it looks wood. It's got wood grip panels and Mischief Machine.
Oh, I have not actually heard of this then.
There, Alpha. Or yeah.
Okay, right there.
Oh, I have seen this. I think Roger on QVO Tactical has one of their grips.
Yeah, so I've got one, and it looks great from the side. The issue with it is, guess how wide it is?
2x4?
Yeah, it's wider than a Glock 19.
Really?
You measure the grip panels side by side.
That is wider than a Glock 19?
Yes, because you've got the way they do it is those are just screw mounting holes for the grips.
Yeah.
So you've got a metal frame, and then they just put the grips on top of it.
Oh, so you've got like a full backer instead of.
Yes.
Okay. Is it solid back behind there?
Yes.
Oh, so they're not inset like 1911s are.
Correct.
Interestingly, poor decision.
Now, granted, I'm the guy that loves old school stuff. But I'd really like to see, throw some grip panels on a 1911, 2011 style gun.
Mm-hmm.
And I think SIG with their AXG series, if somebody could figure out to do what they did with those grips where they're adding almost no actual thickness to the gun, I think that would look awesome. It'd feel great. It'd give you the ability to switch out the grips, get a different look on the gun. I would have liked to have seen them do this. I'd like to have seen Wilson Combat do this. Kimber. The Kimber, in my opinion, looks better than either of the Wilson Combat guns because it's a little more proportional with how they do it. But that's still going to be, I bet you, a 1.35 or 1.45 thick grip.
Yeah.
Which a lot, like my body shape, I'm straight up and down from shoulders to waist. I cannot carry that gun at the 4 o'clock that well. At appendix, I can carry it and conceal it, but at the same time, I'm just going to conceal it at that edge. I'm not going to have the leeway I have with a Hellcat Pro, a Glock 48, a SIG Macro, one of those thinner guns.
Right.
So, and I like to go, 1 or 2 levels below what I can actually conceal when I'm standing up straight and my posture is perfect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's funny how so much of the market is going like super thin guns like the Hellcat Pro and the X Macro. And then you've got like the other end of the market that is going almost crazy the other direction with all the 2011s and the super wide guns. And it's like the middle ground is just gone nowadays.
The Macro is not quite as thin as people think it is, though.
No, the Macro is, it's right here.
And concealment-wise, actually the magazine base plate is pretty wide, and that's the most important dimension you're going to have carrying appendix or behind the head.
So the
he works as an engineer when he has his calipers.
Right. I did have to get them out of a drawer. The X Macro is 1.14, and the Hellcat Pro
is going to be slightly less.
1.07.
Yeah, and that makes a difference.
That's 70 thou, yeah.
I mean, percentage-wise, you're around 5%. That does make a
Manny,
difference.
not only did I have the caliper right there, but I also had both the Hellcat Pro and the X Macro, neither of which was planned. Like, I just happened to have them both in arm's reach. And actually, you know what? Oddly enough, give me just a second. Maybe. Oh my gosh, I can't get this back on here. There we go. I also have a Glock 19, which is 1.18 wide at the grip, which is only 20 thousandths wider than the X Macro.
Yeah. I mean, the X Macro's capacity is impressive, but it's not even as concealable as a Glock 48.
No, it's not. I do think it shoots better. Don't tell Michael. So this did really seem like the year of the 2011 though, as far as what new things came out. So we've got the double stack 1911 from Kimber. We've got the Platypus out. We've got, let's see what else.
The Gerson. Yep.
Just came out with one. So Gerson, there's 2 different sub $1,000 double stack 1911s. Both of these next 2 are my personal favorite setup of a 2011, which would be the polymer frame, steel, or metal subframe. They're probably aluminum, but for carry specifically, I don't necessarily like that setup for something like competition, but they tend to be, I don't know, the metal ones just usually feel bigger. But so we've got the Gerson, which we did play with a little bit. It's okay. Harrison, did you end up playing with the Gerson at all?
No, I didn't mess with that. Personally, just not really. I hit up the stuff I was interested in.
That's fine. That's fine. And then you've got the Live Free Armory Apollo 11, which was actually my favorite of all of the 2011s that were there. And the reason is because it is actually like different. Everything else, all the other ones that we've talked about look straight up 1911. They've got a very 1911 slide, a very 1911 frame. It's all pretty much the same. The Apollo went a little bit further. They've got, and it's just cosmetic stuff. They've just chamfered in different places and cleaned it up in different places. But I'm actually looking forward to that one the most. The price, I think, for both that and the Gear Salon are like in the 980s to 990s range. So when they say sub $1,000, they mean like just sub $1,000. But still, that's very impressive for what it is. Manny, huh?
Is it an import that Live Free Armory is importing? Or
actually, no, it's 100% US made.
That's impressive.
Yeah, it is. Have you looked it up?
I'm looking up right now. It looks like a good looking gun.
Were you not with us when we went there?
No.
That is.
Remember, he went to look at things he wanted to look at.
Right.
No, I mostly had meetings and was meeting with people there.
I, however, did not. So here's a good picture of it. No, I take that back. That's a super low resolution. There we go. That's better. So like you can tell it's still a 1911. The grip and everything is very much, but they cleaned up the slide a lot. It's got the angle chamfers that are like kind of really popular right now. The SIG P365's got them. The CZ P10s have them. So maybe that's why I like it. But that, and it's a US made. It is their optics cut. These are another interesting thing that we noticed this year are a lot of these optic cut companies are only offering the K mount optic cuts for the thin, or for what used to be the micro dots. And I really think that the entire dot industry, I think that we're going to start seeing a shift from RMR being the base go-to footprint to the K being the base go-to footprint. It provides the exact same thing. You've still got 2 screws, 2 posts, but moving those screws back gives you a lot more space for electronics and a bigger battery. Mm-hmm. So I think that's what they're doing. Manny, have you looked at this thing at all?
No, but this also reminded me of the Cosaint Arms 2011 that came out earlier this year.
What is that? How do you spell that?
COSAINT.
Oh, I think exactly like it sounds. Okay, cool. That
guy? Something like that, probably. Let's see. I know David did a review on one, I think, or he talked about one. So,
what did they come in at?
Let's see. Come on, give me a price. Give me a price. Oh, of course, you're not going to put a price on your website because it's trash.
One of the ranges, one of the indoor ranges I'm a member of might actually carry these. They do. They're like $1,000.
Mm-hmm.
That's really good.
I think. Are they Spanish?
They might be, but let's see. I don't know. Their website is trash. Down points for that.
Oh, so along with that, Harrison, do you remember what magazines they said the Kimber was going to run? They proprietary?
They're proprietary, but it seems like the body is a 226 mag.
Okay.
Which honestly pisses me off about the thickness, because the P226 mags are the same width or a little bit narrower, I think, than say like a P365.
Really?
Yes. So you've got a lot of material on the sides of those grips.
Yeah. Yeah. And gun companies they're trying not to go too thin, and I get that. But with guns like that Kimber, like you can thicken it back up with grip panels.
Yeah.
So you make that thing as narrow as you can get it, and then you offer grips to be able to size it to people's hands. Like it's a bigger deal with like the polymer frame guns that like it's a little bit more expensive to replace the grip panels, because like let's admit it, to get a new grip for a staccato is like between $300 and $500.
Yeah.
So that your odds of replacing that are significantly lower than $100 set of grips on a Kimber. But
No, I agree with you.
I forgot to take a look at who was running internal extractors and who was running external extractors. I wish I had paid more attention to that.
Coastline Arms, my local range has those, and I think they're around $1,000.
I just looked one up. Their double stack government full size is $2,400.
Okay.
Seriously?
Mm-hmm.
What are Bull Armories running at now? Do you remember?
Around staccato prices, maybe a little less.
It's been a while since I looked. Their Gen 1s were significantly more affordable than the newest lines that they had come out with. And which is a shame because their major draw that I wanted to do, like the thing that made me want one, was their price when they were like $1,300. Then they came out with their new one. It was like $1,900 upon release. And
I blame David Blanton because it's the ultimate racer.
Right.
I mean, even you couldn't get those Bull Armory guns though to begin with. So
no, they never imported them. I was on a wait list for 2 years and I got 3 different emails across those 2 years telling me that they were in stock. And at the time, like when they were in stock, they sent out an email and there were like 25 guns and you had to order they were gone in about 4 hours. And usually it wasn't even the ones that I wanted. It was all like the full sizes and then the like little baby guys. So I wanted their commander size and they were never came in.
So it looks like now the Bull Armory SAS2 TAC 4.25 is about $1,800.
Okay. Yeah, that's about $500 more than I wanted to spend for one of those.
Mm-hmm.
My shop had a Bull Armory gun, and they started selling them through distribution at one point. Some of the guns, the trigger was fantastic. Mm-hmm. The safety fit the gun seemed to be very well put together, but the quality of the components didn't seem as high. It's a little bit like a Canic of 2011s.
Right.
But everyone wants the Canic.
Yeah.
Canic's the best gun ever. Don't you dare say that it doesn't feel great. Well, it's the most quality firearm I've ever held.
The Cerakote's pretty legit, though. I'm not gonna lie.
So I think the Canic, and I've said this since I first touched one. The polymer on a Canic feels like the cheapo polymer on like a Ruger LC9 or an LCP, or like it doesn't feel quality.
The only thing that arguably feels worse is a Taurus in the sky.
Yeah.
You're not wrong. But remember, that's why they have the steel frame now, so you could be flexing on everybody without the polymer.
I take that back. The TX22 and the GX4 series, higher end polymer wise.
I will say Keltec feels like the P3AT. It feels cheaper than the Canics.
That's between Taurus and Sky. I forgot about that.
Right. How could you forget about Keltec?
I wrote a review on the Sky one time, and I had a guy comment and tell me I was an elitist because I said plastic felt like a toy you'd buy for your kid at Walmart or something to that equivalent. But I'm not wrong.
It's okay. The toy at Walmart felt better.
Right. I had more confidence taking the Walmart toy into war.
Right.
If the Sky doesn't break in the first 50 rounds, they generally last a little while.
Yeah.
If it doesn't break in the first 50 rounds.
Same with SIG, though. Same with Glock. Same with any company.
That's true. But the thing is, with the Sky, though, you're looking at a like 60% probability. With the other ones, you're looking at like a 5% probability.
Yeah.
So there is that. Let's see. What else did we see while we were in there?
Did you guys finally go to Oracle Arms and go look at the Oracle 2311?
They did. They weren't there.
I handled that at a SHOT Show.
Mm-hmm. Do tell.
I really hope it was a early. I hope it was a prototype and not even pre-production, because it felt like it should be $1,000 gun, maybe $800 to $900, and they were asking, what is it, like $2,400? I think was. Oof. I think they were quoting some pretty low prices, but that was without any features.
Yeah.
So like the optics cut, the gun, the safety on it was cutting into my hand after just handling it for putting Very uncomfortable. Dave talked to somebody else at a SHOT Show who was saying the same thing. That gun seemed way overhyped. Had a lot of potential, but we'll see what production versions look like.
$2,200.
Jeez.
It's not a
$2,200 gun.
They could do some things to it to maybe make it a $2,200 gun, but that version they had there was very rough. It seemed like a prototype. It seemed like something, if we started that gun from concept or whatever with $200,000 or like a relatively small amount, it seemed like something we could get to in 6 months.
A-Dubs is asking, did Car show up with anything new this year? I did not even stop by the Car booth. I have not heard anything about them coming out with anything.
All right, Henry's revolvers. Did you stop?
Oh, yes. Yeah. Do you want to go first? Or do you want me to go first?
You go first. I want to hear your
unadulterated
thoughts.
So my first reaction is they were larger than I thought they would be. They are very reminiscent to me. Hey, Clovertax here. How's it? I saw you there, and we were like leaving in a rush to get out, and I didn't get to come and see you. So I apologize for not coming over. Anyway, so the Henry revolvers, they remind me very much of like the early 20th century revolvers, like the detectives and I love the look of them. The feel of like the full size grip, I didn't like that much in my tiny little girly hands. It felt big. However, the what are they called? Bird's beaks? Bird's
head grips.
Bird head grip. That's it. The bird head grips. That one, I typically don't like those. It felt amazing. Like it was just right in my hand.
It must be a small hand thing.
Huh?
It must be a small hand thing.
It is the tiny little boy hands. So they were bigger than I thought that they would be. The scale was off for it being visually reminiscent of the detectives, like those early revolvers. It's physically bigger than that. I don't think that's a bad thing per se, but it is bigger than you would expect it to be. The trigger was surprisingly good. The action was surprisingly good. All in all, I think Henry is going to do well with them, and I would love to get my hands on one. I don't know what the price point is on them. That's the bad part about the NRA show. Like there's so few people with prices on there that I don't even look most of the time.
It's a sub $1,000 gun.
I think it's what, $850.
Yeah.
What I see here is $930.
Not okay. So ready for my take on it?
Well, really quick, so Professor says Henry revolvers look chintzy in all the pictures. They're made to look that way because they're made to look like the antique early revolvers. Okay, go.
So they, in person, they kind of feel like a really high quality cap gun to me.
Okay, yeah, I could see that.
The trigger was not even on par. It was fairly light.
Did you do both triggers?
Yeah, single and double.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I mean the bird's head and the full size grip.
I didn't even see the bird's eye one.
Okay. So they were different. The bird's eye one was better. Anyway, go ahead. Yeah. Bird's head. Yeah, whatever.
Maybe it is bird's eye. All right, I'm confused now. But the full size one, the trigger wasn't great, but it's kind of a cool gun. It kind of draws me in because again, it's like that steampunk. It's like something you would see in Wild Wild West with Will Smith.
Yeah.
That's
or in Ready Player One as like a futuristic take on those early guns.
Yes, it is like a video game gun. It has this kind of storybook character to it that is freaking awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But man, if it was $450, I'd be all over it.
Yeah.
Like it is not like most Henry products. When you really get down and start feeling them, it's like that finish isn't going to last.
Yeah.
It's a display wall piece, not a real shooter. And that it's going to sell well because it's a Henry and the demographic they're going after is going to buy it. It's a different take on a revolver than anybody else has done in a while.
Yes.
I love that aspect.
Yeah. They didn't try to go new. They didn't try to go outside the box. They were like, hey, like when the stuff that we made was popular, this was cutting edge at the time. Let's make that.
If I had a stupid amount of money, I would definitely buy one and probably be a fun plinker, but it's honestly not even going to run as smooth as probably a Taurus for half the price.
Oh, probably not. No. Mm-hmm. It's completely different purpose than a Taurus. A Taurus you buy, like, you can actually use a Taurus.
Yeah.
Like, I would never get this thing to, like, use. It's just like a plaything.
Yeah. And if you want a plaything and you've got a little under $1,000 to spend, you're probably going to have fun, and it's probably going to bring you back to your childhood and playing Cowboys and Indians, but you're playing with the real thing now and shooting at paper and steel versus imaginary targets.
I agree. So
why don't you shoot it in a revolver USPSA match?
I'd rather you use my Smith. Although it would be hilarious to go to a PCSL match with that and my Henry lever action.
Yes. Not like that would be Henry. We need like yours is a little too nice.
All right. Instead of my Henry, I'll run my Mossberg because it's a wood frame 30-30.
Yeah. And that's one thing I will say about the Henrys. Like your Henry, the more modern ones, they've done a decent job. The furniture they come with stock, which you fixed, isn't great, but the finish and stuff on those is a little better. The presentation grade ones, though, you cannot do anything with those without scratching.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird how they've got like those two like very distinct segments. They're like, this is the working group and don't shoot any of these. Like,
it's funny to me though, because you know how you're a car guy, so you know this better than I do, but there used to be certain models of cars that guys who missed out on, who drove a 65 Mustang in high school that just got rusted, and and it's killing them that they didn't find a way to keep it and restore it and put it in just worth a ton of money. Went out and bought whatever car, stuck it in their garage, and they don't realize there's 60,000 garages in America with a sub 5,000 mile version of whatever car.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be the collectible later on.
Right.
That is your average Henry buyer.
Yeah, that's fair.
Guns thinking they're going to be collectible, but they're not going to be collectible because 90% of them are going to be in mint condition.
Yep. Also, don't ever take one apart. It is like the worst.
You just take it to your friend who likes to take things apart.
That was me. I'm the friend. I don't have a friend to take it to. Okay. So Clever Tech says Henry sent him that Texas Edition 22 and told him he better shoot the crap out of it. So he did, and it was one of the toughest T&Es he's ever done. That's a lot of reloading of revolvers. That does not sound like a fun thing to do. So he also brought up this guy, the Gerson MC14T. This is a tip barrel, very reminiscent of the Berettas in 380, which we'll talk about the Beretta 380 up next. So Harrison, thoughts on this thing?
If the trigger's as good as that Beretta, I might actually be in.
It's not. But
remember, this is why they call it a faux Retta.
A faux Retta.
Or as my friend Tony calls it, an impasta.
We didn't stop by the Gerson booth to look at this, unfortunately. I even knew this existed, and I didn't stop. I went straight over to the 2011s. But I think this is a really cool idea. Obviously, like, they didn't revolutionize this. This has been around in Berettas forever, but this is the first 380 version, and I appreciate that they're bringing it up in caliber. It does, from what I understand, I was listening to it actually on my way down to the Primary Arms Range Day. I was listening to some guys who had shot one, and they said that the mags, or the slide spring, recoil spring, there we go, is extremely stiff. So it really does make sense to do this with it, because it's a small gun, stiff recoil spring. Now you don't have to rack the slide to get that first round in. So it's kind of cool. I would definitely shoot one, but it's not gonna be as nice as the trigger on this thing. The new Beretta, the ADX Cheetah, ATX, because our buddy Andy kept saying ADX, and I kept thinking he was spelling ADX, and I'm like, I have never heard of that gun. So this thing,
Ruger going to come out with the ATX.
The ATX, I don't know. But this thing, Harrison, do you want to tell them about this thing? Because I think we have the exact same feeling on it when we played with it.
Holy crap, the double action trigger is the best stock double action trigger I've ever felt. On every gun they had there, besides the one that didn't work.
Right. There was one that was broken already. I forgot about that. But the ones like this is easily the best double action trigger I have ever felt in a stock gun.
It's so good. I want to get one and convert it to double action only.
I mean, it's not that good, but you weirdo.
I like weird stuff.
People have really skewed concepts of what good double action triggers are. Like, if anyone who tells you like a CZ stock has a good double action trigger is lying out their butts.
I'm that guy.
You think CZ's got a good stock double action?
My CZs do.
Oh, they're so heavy and they're just gritty and long and bleh.
Mine are not heavy and mine are not gritty. Mine are all relatively smooth.
Berettas are better. Beretta 92, stock Beretta 92 double actions are better.
The only one I have is it's not a Langdon worked over gun, but it is a Langdon edition, which I do think the triggers might be slightly different in that. It's definitely better than the stock CZs. But the CZs are better than any SIGs or anything else I felt.
Now that's true compared to I will give them that. But stock SIG, stock CZ, reworked CZ, modified 92, this trigger is as good, if not a little bit better. Yeah. It blew my mind how good that thing was.
I have no purpose for a modern looking 380, but I want it. Modern looking full size 380. This is the size of a Glock 19, but I think we both want one. Am I right?
Oh yeah, I would love to have one.
I will say one concern though. I think the grip's probably a little bit big.
I agree.
To get, I think they'd do better with a smaller grip, because then it really would be that great trainer gun for young kids and people with really like smaller than you hands. Yeah.
I'm not sure that they're going for a trainer gun or if they're going for a gun directed at people with generally weaker, like either older people or women.
If I was 70-some years old and I've got arthritis, I'm probably looking at that gun.
And that trigger you could pull at 77 with arthritis.
Yeah.
Let's see. So Pistol Pete asks, did you guys stop at the Dan Wethin booth? I did stop at the Dan Wethin booth.
Dan Wethin? You got
Dan Wethin booth.
Is it like Cool Whip?
It is like Cool Whip. The compact DWX coming around. They just came out with the DWX. I foresee them not changing that for years, not coming out with any other model of that gun. That thing was such an uphill battle to get it to come out. And did you play with the DWX, Harrison?
I have, and I did it. Announced it at SHOT Show, however many years ago.
Oh, it's been 6 years ago or so.
18, I think.
Yeah. That's 5, but still.
Yeah, it was 2018, because that's when I was at SHOT Show I think that was the first time I was at SHOT Show. Maybe, no, that might have been it was 2019. When I was at 2019 SHOT Show, they had it. Or no, it was 2018. Man, it's been a long time. It was, if they'd have released that gun then, it would have killed. You didn't have, how many 2011s have you guys mentioned on this chat so far that launched?
5-ish. Yeah.
I
agree. They lost their window. And I played with it. It's okay.
Honestly, the Shadow 2 had a strong place at that time with its price point. But now that you've got all these 2011s entering the market, the Shadow 2 is still going to have a place, but it's going to have a lot more competition for that segment.
I will say that He asks if the compact DWX is coming around. I have heard that there is a 4-inch version of the Shadow 2 on the way. I had heard that was going to drop at the NRA show. Obviously, it did not. But I do still think that's on the horizon. I think that they are going to ride that Shadow 2 train as far as they can.
Manny,
I'm like, why 4-inch? I don't understand.
Don't ask me why.
I'm like, that's what the face is for. It don't make sense.
Again, that gun would have sold great in 2018.
I feel like I must profess this, though.
It's not a carry gun, though.
The Shadow 2 is not a carry gun. Manny is right.
What length grip is it going to have?
They didn't say. My guess is a compact grip.
So if it had a 15-round, CZ75,
that's my guess,
magazine, or 14 round plus one, and 4-inch barrel in 2018 or 2017, if they would have released that, not saying a lot of people would have carried them, a lot of people would have bought them for carry, though.
Yeah.
At this point in time, I don't see that happening.
No, I don't either.
I mean, that was also before the time that we had Hellcat Pros, macros. SIG P365 XL was maybe around then. Glock 48 maybe around. Yeah, they'd just been released, but we didn't have all the options we have now. Completely changes the marketplace. $1 late and $1 short. Day late and $1 short. Whatever.
Yep. So let me run through the chat really quick here.
So is there anything you're excited with, Manny, or you're just kind of bored with all the offerings?
I'm excited. I mean, I'm kind of interested in getting a Prodigy, I think. But that's just me. I mean,
my Prodigy started malfunctioning the last time I took it to the range.
But see, his Prodigy.
Oh.
See, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a Prodigy and hand it to my Smith and say, look it over, then give it back to me.
So why would you get the Prodigy over, say, one of these other?
I have a few people who actually own some Prodigies, and they've had relatively no problems so far. And if now it's been out long enough, so if Springfield's done like a hidden update or fixing, it's already happened. It's not like those first fresh guns that were having super issues. I mean, not saying that these other guns have issues, but the Prodigy is in that price point of, okay, it's $15-ish, $100. It's not super budget, but it's not staccato money. Plus, I'm going to put a metal grip on it anyway and be like, look how bougie I am. Just go to Chile Custom Gunworks, ccgunworks.com. Just tell them Manny sent you. Move on with your day.
What 2011s are you shooting in competition now?
I've got a custom open gun built by a small builder.
Gotcha.
Yeah, he's got the big stuff.
Yeah, I got a great deal on a custom gun, so I will say that, and it works great. I just need to not suck as much.
That's what I'd sell myself every time I go shooting.
Well, I mean, I went from Glock straight to a 2011 manual of arms, so that's very different.
So think if you were to go shoot revolver division for a year, what that would do for your stage planning ability, your trigger control, and your reloads.
I mean, besides the fact that I'd have to use federal primers for everything, because like a 929, I played with a couple of them. They have nice triggers. They throw your finger off pretty well, but I'm not a fan of having to only use federal primers.
You with revolvers, just buy it. Just buy the ammo.
Yeah. Well, revolver ammo is also fairly expensive.
No, I'm just saying so that you don't have to maintain multiple stocks in primers. Let's see, what else did we have? Why did that not send? I'm trying to go through the show in my mind. Battle Arms Development has a 4-pound AR, 16-inch AR, which blew my mind.
You know that my Honey Badger is basically the same thing.
I know, and but your Honey Badger is not a 16-inch gun, is it?
Well, the Honey Badger alone, the Honey Badger SD naked weighs in at 5 pounds with a suppressor, and it has a full profile barrel and a full receiver set that is not cut down.
Mm-hmm.
The engineering on the Honey Badgers is, when you feel how light they are, it's pretty legit.
Well, why didn't you bring it?
Because
No, I'm kidding. I totally know why you didn't bring it, for all of the reasons, including NFA.
You'll bring an NFA item and just leave it in my hotel room.
Oh, yeah. So CloverTech says, was it Battle Arms that had the Han Solo blasters? It was them.
That was cool.
Those were cool. I took very few pictures at the NRA show. I should have taken more. Like, I know, Manny. I know.
Do you know
You call yourself a YouTuber?
I took a crap ton of video, just no pictures.
All right. First of all, do you know what those Han Solo blasters are going to go for?
I have no idea.
About $2,000. Like $19.95 is the price, but they're only making like 10 of them.
Yeah.
Did you hear about the Island Barrel Combat Masters sets with the bloody pencil?
No. That's hilarious, though.
Okay, so it's a set of, they're selling, I can't remember how many sets there are, but it's a set pair of guns with like a bloody pencil from Staccato. How much you want to guess those are going for? Don't cheat.
500 or something.
Oh, keep going.
Oh, 15K.
Keep going.
What? Oh, it's a set for 2 guns, not each.
Yeah, 2 guns.
What did you call that? I just want to get a picture of it.
$24,000.
It's like $19,995.
Holy crap! What?
Yeah, it's like they're Island Barrel Combat Masters as a set with a bloody pencil.
That's weird and not okay at all. That's too much.
They'll get it.
Let's see who else was there.
All right, the booth that you had so much fun that we just ran into, Fight Light. What did Fight Light have?
Oh yes. Okay. All right. I have big plans for this. So Fight Light makes an AR-15 lower that is a lever action.
I thought Andy was upset with this.
No, he's the first one that saw it, I think.
Yeah. Because I was talking about Bond Arms having it. And I'm like, Bond Arms makes it so cool. And Andy spots this, and I'm like, they have one too.
And the Bond Arms ones, from what I've heard, they're like pretty clunky. These weren't super smooth, but they weren't bad. So here we go. So they make the lower right here, and it's got a proprietary bolt carrier group. And it is straight up a lever action, and it's freaking cool. It can be chambered in. It can take any AR-15 upper. I think the bolt is not proprietary. The bolt is standard AR-15. So anything that you could do a standard AR-15 upper for with a bolt, you can do in this thing.
I have come up with the ultimate combo, and it's modified from what we talked about at the show.
Where's the one I want? Yeah, go ahead.
One of these suppressed in 450 Bushmaster, and then go to the pistols.
That's where I'm going. If I can find them.
Automatic.
I don't think they got the pistols up here yet.
But all right, so they have a one of these though. I think one of these would be more fun than the lever action of the pistols in 450 Bushmaster.
One of these, like just the normal pistols.
Yeah.
So I agree with just a normal, like one of like this thing.
Yes.
However, I really want a lever action in 357. Why can't it? Legend 357 Legend or 350 Legend? Yeah, but like I it's like taking the new take on an old school cartridge and sticking it on the new take on an old school action. I want it so bad. Let's see, CloverTax asking if we went to the new Strybog in the rifle configuration. He's not a Strybog fan, not fun enough for me, but liked those rifles. So I own a Strybog. Harrison, you don't own a Strybog, right? But you've shot Michael's Strybog.
No, we both have. I had a Strybog.
You do have one? Okay. Yours is the A3 though, right? Mine's an A1.
His is the A3. I have the A1.
Okay. All right. So I really like the Strybog. I think it is a nifty gun, especially for its price. I love the lines of it. The rifle configuration, I have mixed feelings about. It is ugly as sin. And let me pull it up for us while we're talking about it. Harrison, what was your take on it?
The Strybog?
Yeah.
Not
The
man.
carbine. Did you even ever stop at their booth?
No. I will say I was impressed with Michael's A3 shooting it suppressed. It was honestly as equally quiet as my MPX and a little bit smoother of a shooter.
Yeah, it's even the blowback versions are really nice. Now, I will say the Scorpion shoots a little nicer, but the Scorpion also costs significantly more. So this is their carbine version.
Remember go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. I was just gonna
kind of on the subject of PCCs and Strybog because this all ties in together. Remember when we were walking by the B&T with Coop?
Yeah, I do.
You want to feel what a gun would feel like if Rolex and Ruger partnered on building a gun.
It's true. It's true. You said that, and I laughed at you when you first said that, and then I felt it, and I'm like, dang, he's right.
Have you ever handled one of those, Manny, a B&T?
No, but they are very nice.
Parts of them are very nice. All the controls are plastic, and they feel like lower quality than Canik plastic.
Yeah, they feel like Canik rejects.
Hey, we got to save a buck here and there, right?
So Clover is he's defending it, and I can't let that pass. This right here, I hate it. I hate everything about how the end of the receiver just ends, and then they've got this extension on there that's just weird and doesn't go with it at all.
I could see Dave shooting this in PCC.
It'll be a cold day in hell when Dave shoots PCC. But the concept
threatened to a lot. He just never followed through.
The balance of this thing is actually really good, though. Like holding it, and he's right. They did have a Scar style stock on it that was just choice. Looked really good, but and again, it felt nice. The balance was nice, but it's just I can't do it with this. I don't.
It looks like a competition style gun to me.
Maybe I just don't like it. I want my square comm block. Like I specifically,
you want the Strybog to be a tactical style room clearing gun.
Yeah, but I don't disagree with him. It definitely needs to be squared off. But I do like the fixed stock, though. I'm not gonna lie.
I think it's a competition specific gun.
Strybog, if you want to send me one, I'll shoot it. Send it here.
I was going to get my Strybog and show you, but I don't know where my Strybog is right now.
Andy probably stole it.
No, I actually have like 4 different main storage locations, and it's not in the 2 that I thought it was in.
It's got to be in the bedroom.
That's one of the 4. But that's where my
Remy's out hunting neighborhood.
I've already got an AR9 up there, so I don't need 2 of them. So I don't think I'd put it up there. Anyway, yeah. So I wish that they had extended the comm block front end and cut it off. I have an extension, is why. So, so Clover says, got to get with Global Ordnance. I actually have 2 cards for Global Ordnance. Well, I've got a card for Global Ordnance and a card for Grand Power. So I'm already I'm not looking for one of these, but I did talk to them about them. I've got an Arex Delta M that is in the shop waiting for me to pick it up right now. So that's coming soon.
Did you handle you handle this? We handled the Staccato CS together, right?
We did, yeah.
What do you think of that?
It was not as small as I was expecting it to be. Hey, Chris, how's it going? Not as small as I was expecting it to be. I didn't not like it, but having a C2, I don't see myself getting one or feeling the need to get one. It would conceal better than a C2. It absolutely would. But I've got like enough other guns that when sweatshirt weather is gone and I have to stop carrying the C2, I'll just carry something else.
It's never sweatshirt weather always continues, sir. You just look different.
Why is it 90 degrees out and that man is in a hoodie?
At least it's not a trench coat.
That's true. That's true. That's I'm on a Facebook group, and its name is "That was very gray," or "That's not very gray man of you." And it's hilarious because somebody got on there blasting the. So I went to the primary arms range day the day before the NRA meeting, and this guy got on there blasting the primary arms day, talking about all the tacta bros who were there and the gray men and all that stuff. And first of all, it is a literal, gun open range day. So of course those people are going to show up. And secondly, it wasn't nearly as bad as he laid it out to be, which was fun because he said the parking lot would make everybody cringe. So I took a screenshot from my video that I did where the parking lot was in the background, and there were like a whole bunch of sedans and minivans and not very many of the gray man vans in there. So let's see, back over to the chat. Oh yeah, Chris, I know we missed each other. I missed everybody. I don't think that I saw any of the YouTubers that I was planning on, like that I was hoping to see while I was there. So the first day, my buddy Andy and I tried to make it through the whole show. We got about a third of the way through the first room and then got distracted.
Ooh, piece of candy.
Huh?
Ooh, piece of candy.
The problem is Coop. A Coop showed up, and you don't know Coop, but Coop is just a gun guy friend of Andy's, and we kind of started bouncing around then. And
He's
then
was Workman's boss.
Huh? Yeah, he's the one you thought was Workman. Yeah, it was my boss. Yeah, we stayed until 6:00 that first day, didn't we? Like, we basically walked out as they were locking the doors.
You guys did, and then Michael.
Oh, that's right. You and Michael headed back, didn't you?
Michael went back at like 3:30, and I think I went back around 4, and he and I gamed.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, and we hit up a couple of places. I think that was the time frame that. No, I talked to Platypus earlier, or not Platypus.
Yeah,
earlier than that.
Yeah.
We just kind of bounced around. I know that we went to CZ in that amount of time and hit up a lot of shotgun booths. And then the second day there was a lot of business. The second day, did a lot of recording the first day, a lot of business the second day, which is probably the backwards way to do that. But it is what it is.
Have you booked your stuff for next year?
No, I need to.
I am going there. I'll be there Thursday. I've got the hotel booked Thursday night and Friday night because
I meant to ask that.
Today.
You couldn't book Saturday?
Not at the Omni. And Michael goes, "Yep, I booked because he might have a booth next year."
Right.
He goes, "Yeah, I'm booked. Everything's good." I'm getting pissed because I'm like, how can you book all weekend and I can't get Saturday, Sunday night? And he booked a week early.
Yep. I knew how that story ended.
Oh, is this in Kentucky next year?
No, it's in Dallas.
You can go and see Dave in person.
Yeah, but I could just go to Dave's house and hang out with his wife and kids and not go to NRA.
Mm-hmm.
And get mobbed by children.
NRA is fun. It was really fun.
That would be Dave's move. Here's your Uncle Manny. He's going to babysit you. I'm leaving.
I could do that. I hang out with children pretty well. I'm not going to lie.
So Clover says he's been making a point to dress as non-gray man as possible. And it's funny because like so my normal getup is t-shirt, blue jeans, and if it's sunny out, which it was, I'll wear a hat because starting to lose the old follicles up there. And that is like, people are like, you should have seen all the guys in hats and t-shirts. And I'm like, since when is a hat and t-shirt gray man? Like it's like they're expanding everything. You can't dress anymore.
So gray man is.
Oh, I know what it is.
It's completely environmentally based. Like people go crazy. Like if you want to be gray man at SHOT Show, throw on 511s, a tactical branded black polo, and have a beard, a designer beard, and a ball cap. Like that is gray man there. You want to be gray man in the mall? That is not going to work.
You want to know how to be a gray man everywhere? You look like a homeless guy. Just like in John Wick.
It depends on where you are, though, because homeless guys might get kicked out by the cops in some places. Try that in a casino in Vegas.
Okay. Well, rule number 1: never go to Vegas. Never go to the Circle Bar. Never pass go.
Oh, I will tell you, the Circle Bar, they pour the drinks. They give very generous pours. Very generous.
Because you're going to give them a tip.
Yeah, but I did not expect that day to start off that way.
Oh,
After work. I said, as we'd finish up the show, this was like probably 2:00, but I did not expect that kind of drink. So it was fun though.
Clover says that he's trying to do bright shoes and bright shiny bright shirts and stuff, which is funny because when I saw them as we were walking out, like the entire group is dressed in like super bright shirts, like just shy of Hawaiian, and it was great. I appreciated it.
You're going to go in Bud Light garb next year, right? To SHOT Show.
Yeah, I think that's a good game plan. I think that's fair.
It'll get noticed
with the big old like Caitlyn Jenner button on me. Vote Caitlyn. All right. Let's see what else came out. We couldn't even find Smith & Wesson. Was Smith & Wesson there? I have no clue. And they even had that new gun. They've got that new side folder.
Yeah.
And I could not find them.
I mean, I say that, but I almost missed the Colton CZ booth till I knew what I was looking for. So it's a whole lot different than SHOT. Just, the way SHOT Show is, you've got all the big, massive booths, and they're very well marked. Whereas NRA, things are interspersed between, your 10x10 booths and then your big, massive, like 40x40 type booths.
Oh, 40x40 was the mid-sizers.
Yeah.
That SAR booth, like that thing was humongous. I could not believe that it's that big. Pistol Pete says Smith & Wesson already made the Shield 1.0. Can't improve. Oh, I gotta show him something really quick. So Harrison, you talk while I go to the safe.
Have you ever handled any of the Langdon guns, Manny?
Yes, I have. I think was one that Workman had when I went and visited him like the first time.
Okay, the 92.
Oh yeah.
So they had at the Langdon booth, they had the 92. They had the 92X, which is the X or XI. They're single action only.
Yes.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That trigger, the trigger on the stock Beretta, single action only, crap. The trigger on the Langdon gun, every Langdon gun, man, the triggers were insane. Mm-hmm. I've got to get a P30L with their trigger work on it, and I've got to get a PX.
Yes,
PX4.
I ran a Langdon P30L at the range day, and it was the LEM trigger. You could not tell that was that you were pulling the hammer when it was. I mean, granted, you're not pulling through a spring, but still, it was. Yeah. So, Pistol Pete, I got a new gun. Let's see if we can get this to. Let's not point it at my face hole. There we go. That's a Shield, my friend. It is a Shield Plus. So it's the 2.0 with a flat trigger that actually doesn't suck. But I thought you would enjoy the irony of me, of all people, purchasing a Shield. But it was so cool. I couldn't say no. It was sub $400 with optics cut and a bronze finish and night sights. Like, I couldn't say no. How do you say no to that?
No.
Oh.
That's how
that was easier than I thought it was going to be.
Pretty much. But I need to get going, gentlemen. I hope you have a good rest of your night. Everyone out in the chat, thanks for hanging out with me. So I'm going to bounce.
Thanks for coming, Manny.
Good seeing you, man.
See you later. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. All right. So Pistol Pete says Smith & Wesson already made. Oh, no, that's not the one I wanted. I wanted Clover's. Little Birdie told him Smith & Wesson posted the worst 2 quarters in their history. the last 2 quarters, and it is unsurprising to me, really. At least their history in the last like 10 years.
That's the Smith, man. They've got such good products, but they come just short. Like the CS, you haven't shot a CSX yet.
No, I've played with them, but I've not shot one.
That gun, the recoil impulse on it is fantastic. The trigger sucks, but the format of that gun, an aluminum gun, the aluminum MMPs, they just fall short. Like they have the cheap filling, it's good texture, but the cheap filling back straps from the MMP, they look out of place. The look's not right. They have that, they go from an 11 to a 13 round extension, I think. Maybe it's 12 to 13, and it's an 1/8 of an inch gap. That doesn't make any sense to me. They should have just made that a flush fit gun, not done an extension. It still would have been small enough for the people who are going to pocket carry it. To pocket carry it, and it would have just been a lot cleaner of a gun. They had the price point they came in at. They could have gone a little bit more higher and done something more like the SIG AXG. Smith is just, they're coming close, but they're just not hitting the right points.
Yeah, and I will also say Smith's marketing is amongst the worst marketing in the firearms industry. The one gun that they have in their entire lineup that they actually properly marketed was the CSX. That's the one gun that they actually put the effort into marketing that firearm.
It's a dud.
And then the gun fell short.
Yeah.
As Humble said, like that gun, it's like 85% done.
Yeah, that's a good analogy. The trigger on it, I kind of understand why they did what they did, but you can't come out with a trigger that it's not as bad as I'm acting like it is, but you just can't come with that form of trigger in 2023.
Right. No, you really need to. They need to step up their game in a lot. And the shame is like the M&P line is one of the top like striker pistol lines right now. In my, that's obviously personal preference.
If I think 100 some plus Glock mags, I would probably be running M&P.
Yeah. Like if I didn't like the CZP-10s, I'd probably be running M&P. It's that good, and it's undersold and under marketed. They just need to do better.
The problem is though, the M&P is everybody's second favorite. They lack that aspect that's going to make it a Glock or a CZ or an FN.
Yeah.
There's guys that love the FN 509. There's a guy that shops at the same gun shop I do. He owns like 5 identical FN 509 set up, just like a lot of dudes do. Glocks, P10Cs. Not that many dudes do that with M&Ps.
Right.
Something about M&Ps that just don't get people excited.
Yeah, which is a shame because I think they look better than Glocks. They function just as well. I still think that they are slightly more accurate than a Gen 5 Glock. Gen 5, I mean, don't get me wrong. Gen 5 Glocks are way better than Gen 3 Glocks accuracy-wise, but they're still slightly loose on the accuracy scale.
I haven't shot my M&P 2.0. It's one of the older ones with the
curve trigger.
Yeah. I didn't shoot it a lot, but I shot a group with it at 15 yards or something. It might have been like an 1.5 inch group.
Yeah.
And I'm at that point, I'm still not right now, an 1.5 inch shooter at 15 yards with ball 115 grain crap ammo.
Right.
And that just wasn't one. That was a 10-round group. Like the gun could freaking shoot.
They can. My general like in accuracy range. So Walther and CZ are like par, like neck and neck for first place.
Yeah.
And then you've got like the honestly the Smiths and the Canics fall like right underneath that. Then you've got SIG for like their P320 lines. Now I'm not talking like the hammer fired guns or stuff, but my Legion grouping is at, if not wider than a Glock Gen 5. I shoot
a Glock Gen 5 pretty dang well. So
Well, I mean, I shoot all of them acceptably, but the Gen 5s are down towards the bottom of all that, and then SIG is down there.
Yeah, Glock Gen 5s are probably towards the top of mine.
You're weird. You and your Glocks.
No, man, I know a lot of people like that. They can shoot a Glock extremely well. I shoot it up there in 2011.
That's really weird.
I like
the 2011 barrels are just better.
I like a heavier trigger. I know how to run a Glock trigger. At the end of the day, the gun, mechanical accuracy in a gun, nobody's really good enough to really.
You know, I used to think that. I really used to think that until I started shooting more, and I can see a definite differentiation in gun for gun, like for like, and that kind of thing. Like I can actually identify features in a frame that are going to affect accuracy.
So here's the thing: that's an ergonomics issue.
It is
mechanical accuracy.
But I can identify the stuff. So my Legion, for instance,
it's very specific though to your hand size, your exact reach.
Yes,
that's
but like my Legion, for instance, the barrel lockup isn't as tight as it is in a Walther or a CZ. You know, the Glocks have a pretty nice barrel lockup.
Yeah,
like they really do. So Clover says Walther's peaked. He feels like Walther's peaked a bit. And in talking with his guys there, seems like they're having some big marketing issues too after losing Cody to Taurus. I probably, unfortunately, did not help them with their marketing issues. But I don't know. Like, I'm so torn with Walther. Like, I'm over the other stuff now. Like, the PDP has come out. It is a good gun now. Like, and I have no qualms for effectiveness, build quality, any of that. It is still big. It is a big gun for what it is. But I mean, Walther they are a small European gun company, even though I don't know if their guns are even made in Europe anymore, but they kind of sit in that same place as the other niche gun companies. And they're going to run cyclical just like the other gun companies. New products going to come out, they're going to come up. You're going to hear a lot about them for a while, and then as time goes on, they don't make changes, and other people come up with stuff, and they're just Walther. So that interest rate's going to go down. A few years, they'll come out with something else.
This is purely speculation on my part, but I'd say part of the reason some of the people that left Walther that are now at Taurus, not just Cody, but also Brent, I'd say it's probably due to their lack of ability to get actual new, different products.
Yeah, from Walther, like to get action on new product lines.
Yeah, I mean, the PDP is a PPQ with a body kit.
Oh, absolutely, it is.
The Walther PPK. I mean, those are already produced here. Why not release one in 32 ACP?
Yeah,
that would do way better than that would drive the 32 ACP market to make more ammo for it.
Yeah,
because that gun is a lot. It would increase sales of that gun significantly because once people shot it, they'd go, it doesn't suck to shoot. It's not the best gun in the world, but it fills that nostalgic void and is still fun to take to the range.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and so Chris says that his PDP Pro shoots amazing, and the thing is, like the PDP, I think that the standard size, like not the standard size, so the 4.5 and the 4-inch versions recoil more than most guns the same size. The 5-inch version doesn't seem to. The 5-inch seems to shoot really well, but that being said, even with that increased recoil, they still shoot really good.
I want to get either a Pro or a 5-inch PDP just to play with it.
Yeah.
But the big thing with the PDP, too, is when they came out with their marketing campaign, and this drives me crazy, and that is a little bit of something. I'm seeing Taurus do a little bit of this now, so I think it's the same thought process. They just act like the gun has no flaws.
Yeah.
When they should, oh, it's a great shooting gun, versus coming out and saying, look, this gun's got a little bit more recoil, but it returns right where you want it. Incredibly fast. You can shoot extremely fast split times, still get great groups, great double taps, whatever your game is. If they'd have just gone and said that, I think that would have helped in the marketing a little bit. People would be like, you're overhyping this gun.
They did, and they did. They overhyped that gun like crazy. I still remember and this led to another Walther video from me, but the video they did with Colion Noir, where they were talking about the PDP and all of the features and how the like the little jet out on the bottom include like has you put pinky pressure on to return it back down, and like they did all of that gimmicky stuff. They were talking about the step chamber adding 50 feet per second of muzzle velocity, and it's a bunch of marketing hooey, you know. Just say like, hey, this gun is focus on the stuff that really is awesome. Their grip texture,
best,
still one of the best. Yeah,
it's the P10C was number one there for a while. I think the PDP knocked it out of the park.
I agree, and I would rather carry a P10C. I think the PDPs is better.
The grip texture on that, when I felt that, it feels like G10. It does not feel like a polymer.
No
grip texture.
And part of that might be the quality of polymer that they're using. Again, I don't think people really understand the variety of quality of polymer that you can have. And again, you know, the same issue with the Canics that we've talked about. Like, there are qualities, and you get up into those high tier stuff, and it just feels better.
I'm also going to throw this out there. Just because it feels higher quality doesn't mean it necessarily is more functional.
That's true.
But like an HKP 30, feels significantly better in the hand to me than an HK, and feels significantly higher end than an HKVP 9.
Yeah.
Just some of these guns.
And the funny thing is, those two polymer types, I guarantee, are identical. It's the same build of stuff, but they change the exteriors, the formings, and everything, and just I want to go grab a PDP. I will also say the PDP F is, man, if you have medium to small hands, the F is 100% the way to go. Large hands can go either way, depends on kind of the grip angle. The PDP F feels way more traditional firearm. So like if you are normally, like if you're used to carrying a Smith & Wesson, a CZ, you know, even a 1911, the PDP-F is probably going to be more comfortable to you. If you like Walthers and their kind of funky grips, the standard PDP is going to be right in your wheelhouse.
Well, speaking about out of the box or guns out of the box, the Walther, a big problem with is the sights just suck.
Yeah, they're not great.
There's something to be said. You really don't cut the cost enough to justify putting crappy plastic sights.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the Taurus G3C has a better set of sights on it.
Yeah.
Than the Walther. Just throw something like that. Do a basic set of black sights.
Yep.
I'll be happy. But the Shadow Systems guns, what do you think of those?
Oh, Shadow Systems has always done an awesome job. They have always been the OEM of the Gucci Glock, basically. They are, you can go to them and you can buy straight from the factory what you would want to be able to build in a Glock.
Have you shot one yet?
I've not, no.
So the recoil impulse on it is straight up Gen 3. Maybe a little worse.
Okay. Interesting.
Trigger, it has a nice trigger shoe on it, but the trigger brake is maybe Gen 4-ish, like slightly worse than a stock Gen 5, in my opinion. But you get awesome looking serrations. The gun looks great. The optics mounting system is straight up genius.
Mm-hmm.
The sights on it are great. They co-witness with most red dots. Shadow Systems is doing a dang good job. I do want to get a different recoil spring, though. Try it in the gun.
I wonder if they're just oversprung. A lot of companies will overspring their pistols to safety net themselves against like the plus P rounds, because especially polymer frame guns don't like plus Ps. They just beat the crap out of your frames, and that includes 124 grain NATO. That will just bust the crack out of your stuff. But another thing. Did you happen to stop by the Radian booth?
No, I did not.
Okay. So Radian is coming out with a pistol plate system. Their first ones are going to be for the Glock MOS and the PDP. And it is, it's kind of reminiscent of the CNH has their, whatever that one with the RMR front, that front blocker plate on it. So Radian is making one with that, like where it extends a hood up and in front of the optic so that you can, hit things with it and you don't break your optic. But the cool thing is, so CNH and their pistol mounting system that is it's patented. They have a threaded barb or a threaded stud coming up through the plate, right? And it's held in place by an oval. I don't remember exactly what they call it. It's like an eccentric circle or something like that. And then they come down the top with a screw, right? Generally, it's a very narrow, like a very thin screw coming in through the top, and they use that to be able to hold it in place. So Radian came up through the bottom with the bolt. So the bolt head actually seats in the bottom of the plate. And then from the top, they're coming down with a cylindrical nut with a Torx bit on the head that is it is a pan head. So it's got that V shape that's going to center it as it comes in. And it's basically the reverse of what everybody else is doing. So you're not threading in a screw from the top down, you're threading the nut onto a post. And I actually really like this system. It was really nice. I think it's going to be really strong, and I'm looking forward to seeing people beat the crap out of it. Heck, maybe I will. I've got a Glock.
It's cool. Hopefully, Radian's a good company, and they were kind of getting stale. So hopefully,
yes.
I mean, they're the number one name in ARs for the custom.
Yeah.
For a little while. So.
Yeah. Speaking of stale, I think that might be like we know Glock's getting stale. They've not brought it. I mean, they brought the 28 out. Who cares? Like it's a 380 in a gun size that nobody wants anymore.
I don't know who's going to buy that.
Nobody. Smith honestly is getting even though again we've talked about the stuff that Smith is coming out with. The stuff that they're coming out with is like niche, like over on the side stuff. It's not main course that's gonna be able to get you new stuff.
We're just going to the show, and then we'll probably, if it's all right with you,
yes, probably
satisfy Clover Tack, and then probably cut off. But
right,
Trailblazer Arms.
Oh yeah. Go ahead.
Gun. It's this like a twisting. What do you call it?
I don't know what to call that.
It doesn't fold. It rotates.
It cantilevers.
Okay.
No, I'm totally kidding. That's not the right word.
Anyway, the barrel folds, twists back.
Pivot. It pivots.
Pivots. Yes.
Thank you, Clover.
That gun. I want one. I thought it was the stupidest thing when I first saw the press release.
Same here.
Getting to handle it in person.
Pivot. Sorry.
All the pictures they have online make the thing look like it's this thick.
Yeah.
When you see it in person, it is Glock 19. It's 1.25 inches at most thick.
It's thin, and they did a way better job of engineering this thing than I thought that they did. You and I both walked up thinking that this thing was going to be,
hot junk.
Yeah, hot junk. That when it was going to feel like a toy. You were going to do this, and it was going to rattle, and the upper and the lower weren't going to lock together well, and it was going to just be bad. And man, when I first spun that thing around and I felt it lock, and I felt the entire lower twist when it hit, because I mean they weren't overly nice with how fast they were spinning that thing, so I wasn't either. And it hit, and like it just solid, immediately solid.
It only weighs 5 pounds, but it feels like it weighs 7.5, but in a good way. It's not a bad bat. It just feels like a very high quality weapon, minus the pistol grip.
Yeah.
That part felt kind of chintzy.
Yeah. Maybe they can fix that. Maybe they can't. I don't know.
But did you see any cool shotguns? Clover Tack's talking about shotguns.
I don't do shotguns. I don't, and it's nothing. I don't have anything against shotguns. I just don't use shotguns on a normal basis, so I wouldn't even know what to look for with a shotgun. This is when we need Andy here because he did look at the shotguns.
Yeah, Clover Tack's talking about Trailblazer as a company. They're based in Asheville, North Carolina.
Head over there.
I've got
that is not a short drive for you, though, is it?
Oh, I've got to go to a bachelor party in August, so
there you go.
Might have to see if I can go up a day early or drive up early.
Clover's gonna unsubscribe because I didn't go look at the shotguns. I have so few shotguns. As I said, like I don't get out often enough to be able to shoot them, and so I just don't.
I need to. Clover Tack, what's a good over under that's a little bit higher end but not
a mid range over under?
Yeah.
Are you looking for like $1,500?
Looking for like $2,000 to $3,500.
Okay, there you go. Got to give them a price range because
talking over under, you can get to stupid money really quick.
Oh, I have seen.
Like I want some a little better than a silver pigeon, but
yeah, we need to. Oh well, shoot, that was a bait and switch. There weren't even any new ones there. I tell you what, that's why you can't.
Shotguns at NRAM were the freaking Genesis Arms guns.
I didn't go.
We walked by the booth, but they didn't have any of them. They were all like on a back wall with a table over it, so it looked like they were not there to be handled.
Okay.
I just kind of walked on by. But those are those guns, and they've got a 25-round drum coming out.
Yeah. I have a VR80. Oh, that's another gun that I want to talk about before we're quite done. But yeah, Harrison, we need to start making a point. NRAM, we got to get together, and then at least one other time of the year, we got to get together for some shooting event, whether it is like shooting skeet or.
So I have the perfect event. It's in Arizona, and I have offered to bring you out there. You just have to get Remy's permission.
Right, that's the problem.
Or not Remy's permission, but Remy's compliance.
Yeah. Okay. So the last gun, and I don't think you saw this one, is the RIA 5.0, the Rock Island new race gun.
All right. So
kept giving me crap for wanting to get over to Rock Island. Screw y'all.
That gun, something about it reminds me of the Arsenal Strike.
I
really like that look of it. The issue I have is the way the trigger guard comes back in towards the undercut.
Yeah.
It is going to be a bitch to design a holster around.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But the gun itself is, so I'm torn on it. I've heard it shoots really well, but interestingly well. Like, you've got to get used to it. The more he does, Clover says, the more he does GunTuber stuff, the more he dislikes pretty much all of the Rock Island stuff.
That's the only Rock Island I'm interested in is the 5.0.
I appreciate them for their 1911s because they're good priced. They run. The TAC Ultra line is awesome for the price. That's about it as far as gimmicky stuff. Like the VR80 is gimmicky. It's fun to shoot, but it has no purpose. There's no purpose with that gun. But the 5.0, so the things I appreciate is that it is a brand new take on pistol lockup, which we've not seen a new pistol lockup design in years.
If you do a review on the 5.0, I think you've got to dress up like Eminem and do the review to Ice Ice Baby. Or not Eminem, Vanilla Ice.
That would be Vanilla Ice, you millennial.
White rapper dude.
White rapper dude. But fun is absolutely a purpose. Yeah, it is. And that's why I own it. But okay, so the thing that I dislike about the 5.0 is the trigger. It's not a bad trigger per se, but the reset for this trigger is almost all the way out. Like it is a very long run on the trigger to go from all the way back to reset. And it was funny because I was talking to the guys at the booth about it, and the guy said he was talking about who said that they liked that form of trigger and that's why they designed it like that. And he name dropped Rob Pincus. And I'm like, all
right. So I want to shoot one of the PD10s.
What's the PD10? What's that one?
I think that's the name. The Avidity Arms PD10. Yeah.
What is that?
I also, oh man, they've got these.
Oh, that thing. Yeah. I just saw them talking about that a couple of days ago.
Okay. I can get an Arsenal Strike right now for $700 on Gunbroker.
Really?
I kind of really want to order one, but
that's actually really good. If I didn't just buy a gun, I'd probably look at that.
I'm not going to do it because it's not the responsible thing right now with all the stuff I've got going on, but that is very tempting. Here, I'm going to put it.
Harrison, what have you done?
Look at that. I just put it in the chat.
No, read Harrison or read Clover's message there. What have you done, sir?
That's you, Workman, not me.
I have to dress up like that because you mentioned it, you jackass. Oh man. He's gonna have a PD10 in a couple of months. That's cool.
Yeah, their production numbers on those things are extremely low. They were bragging on their Instagram. They're like, "Yeah, we got 8 assembled today. We're a small."
Yeah.
I'm like, how is that sustainable when you paid for injection molds for a frame?
That is the question. That is the question. I always wonder, like, really how.
I was talking about this with the PSA guys. Like, so everybody out there, the 10 people or whatever that are on this chat, I don't know if it's that many right now. Yeah, it is.
It is, but I'm included as one of those.
It's 8 because I'm another one.
Yep.
But you can go on the ATF's numbers and look up the production numbers for the last calendar year from these companies. A lot of these companies are surprisingly low.
Yeah.
Like Staccato at one point was like 1,900 guns. They're now, last I checked, they were like 20,000, 25,000.
Yeah.
And that happened in like a 2 to 3 year period. You just LWRC, man. I bet you their numbers for 2021 are going to be huge, but their 2020 numbers or 2019 numbers, very low. BCM, very low. PSA used to be a lot lower than you'd think, but they were selling a lot of build kits at that time.
Right.
They're now like $250,000.
Yeah, I can't believe what they've pulled off.
Lowers are in a separate category. So Anderson Arms still beats PSA on lowers produced.
Dang it. There's another company that we haven't really talked about is PSA and their new
okay.
What was that line?
About
I don't remember.
The Saber.
The Saber, yeah. Sub $1,000 billet receiver ARs.
That, man, I crap talk a lot of PSA, but talking to those guys and really understanding the company, all they do, they are appealing to a price point, but they are not cutting corners.
Right.
They're not trying to act like they're giving you more than they really are, though.
Right.
Like, they're just very transparent. They own their means of production. They're cutting a lot of the middlemen out.
And that owning means of production allows them to hit a price point with a higher quality.
Yes.
So,
and they're putting, like, some of the people they're hiring there. AAC Ammunition, did you talk to them about that?
No, I had heard about it. I think you told me about it.
They're vertically integrating everything. They're making their own primers. Like, they aren't just buying components and putting them together. They are making every component in those bullets. And they're still buying bullets and stuff from other manufacturers, but that's in their generic ammo. They are making everything.
Yeah.
I'm willing to hear they bought a brass mine somewhere.
I do agree with this with CloverTac, though. It does almost feel like they're doing too much too fast. And I hope they don't outgrow that. But by their numbers, it doesn't seem like they are.
I disagree with that. I could be completely wrong. 3 years from now, they could be going bankrupt. But they seemed, if you look at their rise in growth, I think they waited until they got that profitability and before they started doing all this stuff. I think they're actually going much slower than it appears, but because they're such a cash cow,
yeah.
If it weren't for military contracts, I would feel confident saying numbers wise, gross dollars, they're much larger than SIG. That's a company that, 10, 12 years ago,
right,
selling bottom basement AR-15 parts kits.
Right.
Like, they have come a long freaking way.
Yeah, they have.
I can't.
Well, on that, let's go ahead and close it down because I am exhausted.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks everybody in the chat for checking it out. Thank you to everybody who watches this afterwards. Thanks to Manny. He's already gone. And thanks, Harrison, you're over there. Thanks, Harrison, for coming by and talking NRA with me.
Oh, it was good, man. I enjoyed it.
All right. And I'll see you tomorrow morning.
All right.
All right. Take care, everybody.
Cut it off.